All right, y'all. Mark here, cooking the Brooks, bringing some info. So, real quick, just want to share something with you guys. So, faith. I'm going to talk about faith, having faith, and the definition of faith. Now, I'm gonna come from the book of I believe it's Second Kings, chapter 16 or 17 or somewhere around there. Hezekiah the king is threatened. He receives a letter. He receives a letter from the messenger from the king of Syria. I believe it's the king of Syria sends a messenger to Hezekiah that, listen, I'm going to invade your land. I'm going to seize your territory. I'm taking it, right? Hezekiah takes the letter, brings it to what we would call in today's language the church, and he throws the letter at the altar of God, and he prays to God. Say, look, this king is too strong for me, and he's coming to take our territory. Right? I need help. And God sends in that same night, God sends one angel and destroys 185,000 of the enemy's soldiers. 185,000 soldiers were killed one night by one angel in response to that letter sent by the king of Assyria to Hezekiah. I use that I use that passage to say this. Whether you believe biblical stories or not, that's up to you. That's another argument. But the principle is what I want to point out. The principle of having faith is this. Sometimes your enemy is too powerful for you. Your enemy in today's language don't necessarily mean your king of Syria that sends you a letter is your Con Edison. It's your bank, your mortgage, the holders of your loan, which is the bank, sending you a letter that they're about to foreclose on you. It is your the lender of your car sending you a letter that they're about to repossess your vehicle. Because the king of Syria told Hezekiah, I'm about to foreclose on your land. I'm about to repossess your home. I'm about to repossess your chariots, your horses of that time, right? So the king of Syria, which is the Bank of America or the Chase or whatever, sent a letter saying that, look, we about to put a judgment on you. We about to lien on you. And Hezekiah ran to the house of God and said, look, this king is just too strong for me. Sometimes your enemy, your financial debt is too powerful for your bank account. Oh, I'm preaching this morning. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes your financial debt is too powerful for your bank account. Your bank account got 2 zeros, 3 zeros, okay? And while your bank account got 2 digits or 3 digits or 4 digits, while your bank has your bank obligation, your debt is 5 digits or 6 digits, maybe 7 digits. The power of your debt collector is supersedes the power of your bank account, your bottom line. And now that letter that Hezekiah got from the messenger, the chariot, the horse, today it's coming by UPS, FedEx, maybe it's text to you or email to you, or maybe they're calling you on your phone. But you got to take that letter, right, and you got to give it to God. This is the faith that we got to have right now, like Hezekiah. You got to take that letter and you got to say, God, listen, this bill is too powerful for my bank account. My wallet is just not sufficient enough to fight this bill. Here's something else. In that time, Hezekiah said, matter of fact, the king told Hezekiah, look, I've collected on all the other territories around you. That's what the king said to Hezekiah. He didn't say collected. He said, I've conquered. But we're speaking today's language. We're using contrast and comparison here. The king was telling Hezekiah back then, look, I already ceased, right, and invaded all the other countries around you that were more powerful than you. So if I conquered your neighbors who were more powerful than you, what do you think I'm going to do to you? So what the banks are saying, look, I already foreclosed on the guy across the street whose house was bigger than yours, the guy next door who had several vehicles that I repoed, if I done shut them down, what do you think I'm gonna do to you? So we got to understand, right, that listen, the letters that you get, bills in forms of bills and whatever, debt obligations, we got to take that to God. No different in those days is the God of those days and the God of these days. There is no difference. The only difference between those days and this days is faith in the God of Israel. There's no difference in the God of Israel then and the God of Israel today. The only distinction, the only difference is our faith. whether our faith is still as sure as in the days of Hezekiah, today as in the days of myself and you and I. So we gotta believe that. And here's another thing: faith. Sometimes we become including myself, we have become prisoners to the logical brain, which is the left hemisphere. The left hemisphere of your brain has completely imprisoned you to logic, rationale, reason, sound judgments. And here's what I mean by that. We have to understand that when dealing with faith, which is more of the right side of the brain, because the right side of the brain deals with intuition, your imagination, etc. When dealing with faith, we have to come out of the prison of logic. Things don't need to make sense when we're talking about faith here. Okay? Things and be comfortable and be acceptance. Be accepted, be content, be comfortable, have acceptance of being labeled as a nut job, a woo-woo thinker, a pseudo-science thinker, out of your mind. Elevator don't make it to the top floor. The oven's on, but nothing's baking. The oil is hot in the pot, but ain't nothing frying, right? You got to be content with being looked at and labeled as that, because that's the definition of faith. Biblically, the definition of faith is substance of things hoped for, evidence of things not seen. However, I like to add and say, not add to scripture, but I want to add my own definition from my own opinion and say faith is also being looked at as, again, the lights are on, but nobody's home. Faith is the definition of faith is you're crazy, right? Because faith gotta trump their logic. Faith has to supersede your left hemisphere. Faith has to supersede what makes sense, because faith makes no sense. You understand? Having faith is not logical. Having faith is not reasonable. It's not rational. Having faith don't mean you cross every T and dot every I and connect the dots and the line. Faith says there is no dots to connect. There is no line and T's to cross. It's completely out of your mind. You are thinking outside of the box. You're thinking out of the box that's in the box that's out the box. Until next time, peace.